is indeed, I think we've had a long and interesting day today. What has come out is that, of course, while there's a lot of play from e-retail today, but also it is the fact that in the coming times, we're going to see a lot of play in the digital space by the retailers and the product companies. So I think the objective of this particular panel is to see the retailers who have done some early experimentation, they're the first movers in digital space. What is their experience in terms of seeing what e-retail could do for them, and where do they possibly see digital retailing or omni-channel, as we call them, retailers, we call them, how do they see or how do they perceive the growth in this space? So I think, Abhishek, we'll start with you. Puma, I think, has done some wonderful work. They've been into e-commerce space for more than a year. I remember seeing the early days of the Puma shop that you'd started doing on your bags, and also in various places where you started marketing the website. So, what has your experience been as a retailer who's done digital space? Where do you think your challenges were? Do you think this space is interesting? Do you think you want to grow in this? So if we could have your thoughts on this.
Well, it's a very interesting topic on how important is brands per se in the e-commerce space. And my experience, we started Puma about 7 years back when the brand was completely absent. So it was about the brand not being known, to today when we are very well established on the traditional side of the brick and mortar channel, which is exclusive stores and multi-brand outlets. We have about 260 exclusive stores. And now over the last couple of years is where the e-commerce channel has come in. And you would be surprised to know that we are already about clocking 8 to 9% of our sales coming from online. We are the #1 brand, for example, in Myntra, a very important player in Yebhi, Jabong. So all these lifestyle multi-brand channels, we are a very, very important contributor too. So I think a lot why we've been successful and why we've had a head start is also to do with our brand positioning per se, which is very young, very design-led consumer choices. And if you see who is already purchasing online are the guys who are young probably, and they want to take the risk and try something new. That works very well with us as a brand. So as an online strategy, it is going to be very important. We would like to grow our business to about 15 to 20% going forward. We've already launched pumashop.in, which is our exclusive store on the online space. And I think it's going to be very interesting going forward.
Do you think the entire mix of the digital or the omni-channel commerce would become far higher in your total retail mix in the coming years?
Yes, and I think it is very important, if you look at it, consumers previously used to buy a category. So somebody would like to buy, for example, in our category, the space that we are into, would like to buy a t-shirt for a particular price, But consumers in India have matured and grown ahead of that. And people are no longer buying just a category. They're buying into a story. They're buying into a collection. And they're buying into a concept. And herein is the importance of a brand. The role of a brand clearly, whether it is a private label or a brand selling on the online space, would be, you have a feature and you have the price. So the price by feature is what the brand gets in. And unless and until any e-commerce player understands this value proposition to drive this price by feature, the physical feature or a physical benefit, I don't think that the channel would be profitable.
But do you at all, at any point of time, also feel that you're far better off selling in your stores because you have to discount or change your price or probably offer deals to people in order to be selling online? So in that sense, maybe you can sell on an MRP in your store while you probably have to make your product relatively cheaper and therefore more customer friendly on the website.
I don't think any e-commerce plan based on price will be successful. If it is an old season product which is sold in a factory outlet, might be available at a discounted price in online. However, if it is a fresh season product being sold at full price, so we would never sell because we feel that acquiring customers on price proposition is a one-way traffic. You discount them. You're not just you're thinking you're acquiring customers, but what are you doing in the process is that you you're sacrificing on business sustainability going forward because the customer always expects a discount then. Unfortunately, it is a one-way traffic.
See, when you say a brand, you mean a promise to the customer, and hence there is an element of trust. Yeah, the customer starts trusting you as a brand, and then probably you can take a platform of not really going in for a price war. How do you get customers online or even offline? Let me talk offline first because that's the business I have been running for the last 12 years. If I'm not on discount, my sales in my offline stores goes down by 60%. I have to be on promotion almost every month of the year. Because if I'm not on promotion, the sales go down. So I'm seeing the same thing happening online. I think all the online websites today are discounting deeply to create some sort of a trust. Let the consumers try my website. Let him start getting some sort of a trust. Let me start building a brand. Yes, I understand what you're saying, that price cannot determine a brand. The price wars cannot lead you to a brand. But what use is a brand if there is no customer there? So let's get the customer in first, give him the COD, give him the great deliveries, give him a great experience, and over a period of time, maybe you get what you're saying, reduce your price wars.
Ankur, you've seen it all probably. You've seen the deals going on the website. You've seen the bigger and the better deals coming at your website and around there. In fact, he's pretty much, kind of the king of deals in the online space. So you tell me, do you think it is the deal which sells the product, or is it the product which is probably, creating the website or moving the customer to your website or any other website today?
Whenever a customer, and all of us, think about it, when we make a purchase, there is an axis of price and then there is an axis of feature, and that's a brilliant argument. But always there is a third axis, which is what Mahesh is talking about, which is a brand price. Why is it that Apple is the most expensive phone when the services or the features it offers are pretty much what someone else would also? Because people are willing to pay a premium to it. Now, the business that we are in is at what price does a brand become irresistible and completely driven by impulse? Price and feature will always have a data, and that will always be a 0 or a 1. You cannot argue with that. If they were to spend a little bit of that back to the consumer and literally give the consumer that money instead of spending it on a celebrity or me or Mahesh or Abhishek himself, things would perhaps be different. And that's how the entire customer starts thinking. If your price and feature is accurate and unmatched, there is absolutely no way why a customer would go for something else the second time around. Because if he's ran once in a Puma shoe, he will know what a Puma stands for. And he will never go to a XYZ just because it's cheaper.
Would you second that, Abhishek?
It is very, very important that we build our digital strategy not just on the basis of price, but on the basis of engagement, on the basis of creating aspiration, whatever your USP is. And acquiring customers just because you are running that discount, I'm sure can be a short-term strategy which is important. But like you said, then you need to build your next stages to that.
Coming down to your point of view, Ankur, what do you think is the highest settling category at a deal? Which is the product or which is the category you think which attracts maximum deals and which attracts a maximum customer to it because of that deal?
I'll answer the question differently. We play in home, kitchen, and fashion, right? So we don't play in electronics. And in those cases, we see that lifestyle accessories is the most favorite category because it's just sheer impulse driven. Sunglasses, watches, belts, wallets. These are not very, I would say, involved purchases for a customer because he doesn't really set out to say, I'm going to buy a belt today. But if he gets a great brand, a brand is the benchmark that has to be there. If he gets a great brand, but at a price that's irresistible, it's bam, done.
Do you feel for a brand, probably a lesser discount would be more workable?
We've seen it every day. We've seen it every day. Like, we see instances wherein we have to run a deal at 90% off, and it just doesn't move, but a great brand at 15% flies. And that's the real power of how things are.
Mahesh, you've been in social media, and I feel you've got a fair amount of likes for Home Center. So I was just wondering that how do you plan to create these likes into digital store customers once you actually go online? How do you think you're going to create engagement on your Facebook page with them so that they buy with or without a deal? And actually, they can become your digital customers. Of course, given that they are very strong on the digital space and, liking your brand on your Facebook page. So maybe, how do you plan to actually make them serious
Well,
customers?
we have 25 lakh followers on our lifestyle Facebook. The online strategy for me makes a lot of sense, but I'll have to create a very strong brand in the next few years of our home center. Ensure that these people actually come online with my branding and hopefully trust us to deliver the right products to them. That's going to be the real challenge, because if today they don't even come offline, will they buy online? That's the question I have. But we'll crack it someday.
But have you, whenever, let's say, you go into your season sales with your stores and you probably make an announcement on your Facebook page, do you think, or do you feel at that point of time, these people are attracted to come into your stores and take the deals which may be there?
Yeah, some of them do. In fact, during off sales, which are the biggest sale events in home center, or biggest sale events in anywhere in offline, I think that is the time when these people actually stop being fence sitters and run into the stores. But just not enough of them. I just hope that it starts being more than 4 or 5% what happens now, and when it converts to say 40 and 50%, and that's the day I think we'll have arrived.
E-commerce today has made an assumption that they give better discounts, and that is why people want to buy online. And even if the Flipkarts and everybody, they want to shed that image, it's not going away. Do you think that is happening somewhere?
There's a perception that e-commerce has to be the cheapest cheapest offering. But the brand has the responsibility to have that aspiration up there. So if today, home center goes on off sale, people will rush because home center has an imagery that, it has the best home solution. And it stands XYZ for its consumers. And people would rush. And then you'd also need to clear your old inventory to get freshness. That's a reality of retail. So you need to mark down. Our sales goes up 3 times during sale time. And that's so natural. But it is very important. The brand has the responsibility more than the channel to keep the aspiration there so that, people still continue to buy full price, irrespective of the channel.
Once Puma Shop, your online store, becomes more popular, is it, and Ankur, you can tell me if this is a practice internationally also, when you get more hits or probably more browsing in your own store and therefore more sales, would you stop putting your product in multi-e-retail stores?
Not at all. Although the consumer base is the same, there are people who still want to buy a category. They want to buy a footwear, and they go to a particular site who has driven, through their marketing spend, driven the traffic. And it would be, I know there are competitive brands which have that strategy. Once they would launch their online, they would not be available multi-brand. But as long as we can control our multi-brand e-commerce partners from discounting and selling it in a manner which is not suitable to the brand, we would be available, because it would be, I would say in my books, it would be naive not to do that. And we would continue doing that, because let's face it, today in terms of lifestyle sales and the opportunity that India means, we're still scratching the surface. So we should look at all ways of approaching the consumer, various manners, various ways, various channels. And we should not have restrictive process, as long as you can control your brands, whatever your brand stands for.
What is your take in terms of once, let's say Kaya is able to probably have their own website, would they use you a little less, or your medium a little less, for showcasing their product?
As is obvious, there will always be these pool of customers who go directly for the brand, but there will always be this bigger segment that is looking to compare and to evaluate against features, against pricing, against several other things. And for that to fulfill itself will always have to be a multi-brand.
Mahesh, has it ever happened that the companies whose probably exclusive stores become over-popular, they tend to reduce their the offering that they are making in your store, or probably the collections that they are showcasing in your store tend to go down?
No, never. For a simple reason that a customer comes to a home center with the trust of home center in mind. So he's not actually coming to buy a Portico or a Bombay Dyeing or a Spaces, but he's coming to buy a home center product. And within that, if he gets brand or private label, he then decides out of that MBO. So it's just a question of EBO and MBO. Just because there are EBOs doesn't mean that the multi-brands would go down. It would never happen.
First, request Mr. Merchant to share his thoughts with us. Mr. Merchant, we've been having this fantastic discussion about, and I've been seeing Catwalk has been selling in most of the e-retail websites which are existing today. Do you have your own website as well currently?
No, we don't have our own website, and we don't intend to do it for some more time, because the way these Jabongs and Snapdeals of the world, the way they're doing an amazing job. I don't think so that it's too early for any brand in India to think about going online. I think because what we lack as an Indian brand is it takes a lot to drive in the traffic eventually to your portal, to one's portal. So I strongly recommend that you need to keep doing with these very established portals. It makes more sense. It has gone as high as 10% of our revenue is coming from online business as of now.
Right.
That's huge.
That's huge.
We sell more than 800 pairs a day online.
That's a big number. What is your number of pairs going online, Abhishek?
Well, I would find it difficult to actually take out how many pairs are we selling. But like I said, we are about 8-9% of our overall sales. Last year, we did, we work on calendar year, we did 1,000 crores of retail sales. 8 to 9% to be fair, of that online. In 2011, we were probably at 1-2%, hardly there. It's all happened over the last 1 year. And hats off to these guys, like he's saying.
Mr. Merchant, do you think discounting has been one of the reasons why you've been able to sell those number of pairs in so many numbers?
I go to buy hotels, buy discounting, I buy everything that isn't discounted. Only discounting is the thing which works. We have been trying, partners have been trying very hard to make sure that full pricing takes place, but unfortunately, we have just hit the height of, in certain months, 40% coming in at full price. 60% of what you eventually sell is coming from discounts. And people are only looking for discounts. We have been telling people buy full price. We have a partner in Jabong. His directors came from Germany and they said, look, we have got a lot of e-commerce expertise and we have got a fantastic deal for you. I said, what's the deal? Well, let's go full price. I kept telling him we cannot do it. No, Germany mein hota hai, yahan pe bhi hoga. I said, okay, let's do it. So we do approximately 45 lakh rupees business per month from him with Jabong. That came down to 11 lakh rupees. We were doing 15-16 lakh rupees full price. The debt came down to 11. Everything came to 11 lakh rupees. So I think that discounting is the mantra, and if anybody thinks that is going to do full price, should come and meet me after this outside.
Mr. Merchant, would the discounts that you're offering online be more than what the discounts that you offer in your store?
The thing is that whatever we couldn't sell in our EOSS is eventually going down as a ongoing sale in the online portals. And it's okay then. It means whatever we say, the prices are stable all across. Then one needs to ensure that it is done. One should never experiment. There are instances, we have faced instances that once when two different partners have attempted, somebody thought that the value of the product what we are giving can fetch him 100 rupees more, and he tried it. And we got, maybe in some time we got a lot of mails, or maybe in the Facebook we got a lot of hits, people complaining that there is two different prices.
So, okay, I think with that we'll probably wrap up this session. Thank you for a great discussion, gentlemen. It was probably great to know that brands today I think the crux of the discussion is that while everybody is growing in the e-commerce route, right now perhaps to some extent discounts do happen, and these discounts would probably become less and less as e-retail becomes a more favorable channel for people to shop. So I think with that said, brands still need to probably keep their head up, offer little discounts, but offer bigger retail sales in the digital space. Thank you very much.